are doing in continuation. We have already discussed in gravitation about gravitation, what is gravitation, gravity, and today we have to discuss about the Newton's law of gravitation. In vector form we are going in detail, because otherwise we have discussed that the force of attraction between 2 point masses, that is directly proportional to the product of the masses and inversely proportional to the square of the distance between them. And of course we got a proportionality constant, that is capital G, which is your gravitational constant. This is your previous knowledge. Today we want to write Newton's law in the vector form. Of course Newton's law of gravitation, or if I say universal law of gravitation, it's the same thing. Whatever way it can be asked, the answer will be same. Two masses, if I'm taking m1 and m2, which are separated by a distance small r. And of course we have discussed in the properties of the gravitational force that it acts along the line joining the two masses, and distance always we take from the center of these point masses, because we assume that the whole mass of the spherical body is concentrated at its center. Or we prefer to take point masses or spherical bodies. So what it is, that when I'm taking the force on 1 due to 2, that is of course away from 1, as we have discussed, that if you take the case of earth, then you observe that the bodies are falling towards the earth. But this question can also be asked, that why earth is not rising above, because one force earth is exerting on the given body of mass m, the same force is being exerted by that body on the earth also. But forces, of course, they are equal and opposite in direction, but because the mass of the earth is quite large, and that is why it is our common observation that the body is falling towards the earth. This is, if I take it as this, the given body, this m2 I take as the earth, then the force is acting towards the earth, whatever force is acting on this body, that is force on first body due to 2. But if you see the force on the second body due to 1, it is towards the first body. Opposite to it, magnitudes we are going to prove that they are coming equal. Magnitude of F12 and F21, they are equal, but the directions are opposite, because by Newton's law of gravitation, this force is directly proportional to the product of the masses and inversely proportional to the square of the distance between them. Now what is our aim is, we want to study it in the vector form. It means we want to know the direction of this force. This force, this is the direction. Otherwise you can write from m1 to m2, f12, it is from m1 to m2. But if I want to write it in terms of the position vector, or I say I want to write it in terms of the displacement vector, then I can just draw the diagram like this, which is I'm showing the xy plane, two bodies are like this. And if in the numerical problem you have to find this displacement vector, then of course you will be given with the position vectors of m1 and m2 that I have written by r1 and r2. Now this r12 is the direction when I'm moving from 1 to 2. And if I want to find its value, I can apply the triangle law of vector addition. These two vectors r1 and r12 are in the same direction. R2 is the closing side of the triangle, but in the opposite order. So I can write it by using triangle law of vector, that r1 plus r12, it is equals to r2. Or I can write the value of r12, which is equals to r2 minus r1. This is the r12. Similarly, if I'm moving from 2 to 1, this is r21. My displacement vector r21, it means if I'm moving from 1 to 2, this I'm calling it as r12. If I'm moving from 2 to 1, I'm calling it as r21. That is the direction, unit vector if I take. But here if I'm finding r21, Then of course I can apply again the triangle law, this R2 and R21 in the same order, and R1 is in the opposite order. Closing side of the triangle, I can write R2 plus R21, it is equals to R1. Or I can write R21, it is equals to R1 minus R2. So if in case in numerical you have to write the value of R12 or R21, then and there whatever naming you give, you can always calculate the value of the displacement vector and you can solve the numerical. This I have simply written for that purpose. But if you have to simply write this value of force on 1 due to 2, force on 1 due to 2 is in this direction. But I know my gravitational force is an attractive force. So attractive force we always write with the negative sign. And that is why I'm writing it with negative sign. But if I want to write negative sign, then it means direction of minus of R21. Because R12, if you want to write the direction of R12, that is equals to minus of R12, it is equals to minus of R21. Magnitudes are equal. If in the question they are asking the magnitude, then of course F12 magnitude is equals to F21 magnitude. Similarly, R12 magnitude, it is equals to R21 magnitude. But directions, as you can see in the diagram, they are opposite. So here our main focus is about the direction. Because once the direction is clear to you, you will be able to work out the numericals. So I'm writing it in this way, or if I write R12, it is equals to G M1 M2 divided by R square into R21. But R12, it is equals to minus of R21. So I have written this equals to minus G M1 M2 upon R square into R21 cap. Cap is simply showing the direction, not the magnitude. But this unit vector, I can write it as the given vector divided by its magnitude. So this is another way of writing. Then I can write the result as minus G M1 M2 upon R cube into R21 vector. So by the knowledge of vector, you should be able to differentiate between the cap and the vector sign. Cap is for the unit vector. And if I'm putting the vector sign, I mean the vector along with that magnitude of that. So similarly, if I'm writing R21, this will be equal to minus G M1 M2 divided by R square into R12 unit vector. Unit vector, it means I'm simply writing the direction. I'm not affecting the magnitude of this force. Force magnitude is remaining same, but the direction will be given by the unit vector that is written by the cap sign. So this is when you have to write it in the vector form. These position vector concept, unit vector and displacement vector, all these concepts should be clear with you so that there should not be any doubt in the numericals how you have to take the direction. Direction is this only. Either I can write it as F12 is equals to with positive sign G M1 M2 upon R square into R12 cap. That is also correct. So both the ways it is correct, but we prefer to write with negative sign simply to show the attractive nature of the gravitational force. And said that if I'm having two or more masses with me, then the force between two masses is not affected by the presence of the other masses around it. And that is the reason when I have to add the forces, I will be using the superposition principle. Superposition principle which we have to use for adding the gravitational force is very important because then what it states that supposingly this mass M1 is here, M2, M3, M4, I can draw M5, M6, so many masses I can draw. Then what I have to do is the force which is acting on M1 due to M2 or M3 or M4, those all the forces are to be added but taking care of their vector nature. It means total force which is acting on M1 is equals to the vector sum of the forces acting on that particle due to other masses around it. But if I go with force on M1 due to M2, then simply by the vector method, I have to see the direction. Force on M1 due to M2 will be away from M1. So this is F12 force. Similarly, if I'm finding for M3 on M1, this is of course towards M3, or I can say away from M1, this is F13. Similarly, if I'm finding this force on M1 due to M4, then this is F1 force. So total force by superposition principle, whatever is acting on this first body M1, it is equals to the vector sum of the forces due to the second, third and fourth body. So I can write it as F1, it is equals to total force on the first body. I means F1, that is equals to F1 due to second particle, due to third particle, plus due to fourth particle. All these, but of course it means the knowledge of vector addition should be there, so that you are able to work out in the numericals. And I can write this as, because I have to write with the negative sign showing its subtractive nature, so direction of R21 is negative of F12 direction. So I'm writing it as R21 unit vector, R31 unit vector and R41 unit vector. Those directions you can see are opposite to the direction of the forces. So that is why negative sign. Force, I know that the force between any two masses is not affected by the presence of the other masses. So I can write it as summation sign I is varying from 1 to n, that is F0 I. I is varying from 1 to n. It means I have to simply add the vectors. So whenever I have to add the vectors, I have to take care of their directions. The resultant gravitational force acting on a particle due to number of point masses is equals to the vector sum of the forces which are exerted by the individual masses on the given particle. So this is important that you have to take the vector sum. Now this is the question with you. Question bache, with you is, I'm reading the question. Three particles X, Y, Z, they are placed in a line as shown here. You can see in a line I have shown three particles X, Y and Z. A fourth particle is at O point here, at O point, which is a perpendicular bisector of the line XZ. It means I have to divide XZ into two equal parts, then only this point Y is coming, and this Y is the perpendicular bisector of this line. Calculate the gravitational force at O. You have to find the gravitational force at this O point, and it is given that all the particles are of same mass. Now this is, they have specified the masses are same. They may take different masses to make different numerical circuits. So basically we have to learn how we have to apply the superposition principle. So because I am having more than two particles, if I am having two particles, simply I can find the force. But I'm having more than two particles, then of course I have to take the vector sum and I have to apply the superposition principle. This is the magnitude formula, is your previous knowledge, that force it is given by G m1 m2 divided by r square. Now because position vectors are not given, nothing is given, so what it is, I will go with whatever way I feel easy with the things. So need not get panic even if you are getting the numericals, how many particles they are giving. Just try to understand, and most of the time by resolving the vector, you will be able to do the work easily. Or otherwise, of course, if you are comfortable with triangle or parallelogram law of vectors, then that can also be done. So I'm doing it by resolving the given vectors. So now what it is, I want to find the force at this point, O point. Fine, according to the question. Calculate the gravitational force at O point. Due to these three particles, X, Y and Z. So when I'm taking force at O due to X, it will be towards X. This is by my knowledge of vector. And force due to y, it will be towards y. This is direction Fy I am showing. Fx is towards x, Fy is towards y, Fz is towards z. And now it is that if I want to write the magnitudes, distances are also already written in this diagram. This is S, this is also S. It means XY distance is S, YZ is also S, and this OY is also given as S distance. So I can write these distances OX. It means distance between the O particle and X particle, that is root 2s by using the trigonometry, or similarly this distance also I can write, that is root 2s. So now when I'm writing the magnitude of the force Fx, that is given by G, if I assume each mass equals to m, because they are saying all the particles are of same mass. So I'm assuming the mass to be small m, then m into m will be m square, and distance is ox square. Ox means root 2s whole square. It will be equals to 2s square, and the direction is along ox. Simply you can write that the direction is along ox. Similarly, when I want to write the force at O due to y, then it is towards Fy. It means it is along Oy, I can say, and the magnitude is gm square upon, simply this distance is s, so I will be writing s square. And force due to z, it will be Fz towards z, which is equals to gm square divided by root 2s whole square. Root 2s whole square means 2s square, and the direction is along OZ. Direction is along OZ. Now the resultant force, when I have to find at this F is the resultant force, if I say, then I know this is perpendicular bisector, this angle is 45, this is 45. I can resolve Fx into components. So when I am resolving, Fx cos 45 will come along this direction, Fx sin 45 will go along this direction. Similarly, Fz cos 45 is coming along this direction, and Fz sin 45 is coming along this direction. But you can see the values, magnitudes of Fx and Fz are same. So it means their sign components will be equal, directions are opposite, so they are going to cancel. So net force which is acting on O is this force only, which is along OY. Direction is along OY, and the net force I can take by simply adding these Fx cos 45 plus Fy plus Fz cos 45. 45 is 1 by root 2. So I'm getting 2 root 2s square. Here also I'm getting 2 root 2s square. And here it is as it is. Direction, total direction is along OY. You can simply leave the things here. If in the numerical they have given you the value of the masses, you can put those masses. If they give you the distance, you can put the value of the distance. And this way you can always work out with different type of question. Want to write in terms of cap, you can always write that also. But that is not required here, because in this particular question, by resolving, I am getting all the vectors, all the forces, they are acting along this OY direction. So that I have mentioned in the answer. So whenever any vector quantity is there, you have to give the magnitude and you have to specify the direction. For specifying the direction, you can take the help of unit vector, or you simply mention from where to where you are moving. Both the ways are correct. The question is, how far from the earth and a line towards the sun must a body be placed so that the gravitational pulls of the earth and sun are balanced on it? Now this is again something to add to your knowledge also, that you also must have observed that it is when we talk about, of course we have to talk about the satellites and all that also, that when you are throwing any object, if you are able to throw it within the gravitational field of the earth, then only the body will come on the earth. If you are moving out of that field, then the body may fall on some other planet. It will not coming back to the earth. Now the question is stating that I'm here on the line joining Earth and Sun, I'm here, and I want to put a body here, I'm putting at P point, so that the gravitational pulls of Earth and the Sun, they are balancing. You see, if I want to find the force at P point due to Earth, it will be towards Earth. And if I want to find the force on the body due to Sun, it will be towards Sun. So both these forces are acting on this point, your M mass, but they are acting in direction opposite. So if I assume that at a distance x, I'm keeping this point which is having the mass small m, then I can equate the magnitudes of this Fe and Fs. Then when I'm equating these magnitudes, again by using the gravitational force formula with me, GMEM, force between the Earth and the given body, which is having the mass m, that should be equals to the force between the Sun and the given body. So given body, I'm assuming the mass is m. I have been given with the distance between Sun and Earth is given in the numerical question, 1.5 into 10 to the power 11 kilometer. This is, I'm assuming, r. And the masses of the Sun and Earth ratio is also given in the question, that is 3.3 into 10 raised to the power 5. So this question I have taken simply to add to your knowledge also, that when I'm moving from Earth to Sun, I may come across a point where if I put any object of mass m, then both the forces are equal. That is balancing each other. For that, when you have to find that particular position, then you have to see directions are opposite. So simply I have to equate their magnitudes. And when I'm equating the magnitudes, then Fe, it is equals to Fs. So I will be putting the values here for the distance. I have assumed x. So this distance will be r minus x. So I can put the values here, because small m will cancel on both the sides, capital G will also cancel on both the sides. So I am able to write r minus x whole square divided by x square, it is equals to ms divided by me, where ms is mass of Sun, me is mass of Earth. Then this value is given to you. So you can simply find r minus x divided by x by taking the square root on both the sides. So mathematics, you can simply solve the things by putting their values. R the question and x you can calculate. I'm getting the answer 2.6 into 10 to the power 8 meter. So you need to understand the concept. You should be able to apply the formula, and then you have to simply work out doing the. One more question, bache, on the basis of your previous knowledge. You have to calculate the mass of the Sun if mean orbital radius of the Jupiter around the Sun is given. It means when Kepler said that the planets are revolving around the Sun, then the force of gravitation, it is equals to the centripetal force. This should be clear in your mind. And then distance between the Sun and the Jupiter is given, that is 7.8 into 10 to the power 11 meter. Time period of revolution is given, and capital G value of gravitational constant is known to you. So you have to simply apply the centripetal force, that is mv square by r, it is equals to gmm divided by r square. And v is equals to the circumference of the circle. I think that this is clear with you, that when I'm moving around, when a planet is moving around the Sun, so this is moving around the Sun, your Jupiter. So this distance is given r. So the v is if the velocity, that will be equals to your 2 pi r divided by capital T. And then you can work out with the things by putting the values. Capital M is taken as the mass of the sun and small m is taken as mass of the Jupiter. So you have to write this and then you will be able to calculate the things. Small m is getting cancelled on both the sides and you will be able to get the capital M. By simply in these questions, of course, you have to work out mathematics, you have to solve this values. You are getting the answer 1.9 into 10 to the power 30 kilogram. So these are the methods by which we are estimating the mass of the sun by knowing the distances and all other things. So of course, more numericals you can work out. Keep things up to this for today. Thank you everyone.